as a new member, understanding the complexities of the secretaries and all the hats you must wear, I certainly projects, programs, like the National Park Service and all, appreciate the investment, the work in West Virginia, national parks in my district, so thank you very much. I want to focus a little bit on the OSM and follow up maybe most specifically on Chairman Rogers' questioning. I would agree totally with the comments that he made. Let me just kind of dive in on a couple of specifics. Number one, he referenced a study that indicated that the stream buffer zone new proposed rule would look at an effect of probably saving in the neighborhood of about 15 miles of stream. Is that an accurate number?
That's the first time I'd heard that number, so I'm not sure where that came from.
Based on the work that you all have done and the preparation of this rule, what number do you think it is?
I don't have a number. This is really about the hydrology that we have learned about over the 30 years since the rule has been written and the very dramatic impacts that mining has had on the hydrology, and trying to put a rule in place that is more consistent with what we know today.
Okay, so you're basically saying then you are not estimating the effects and consequences in terms of stream miles of the effects of the rules that you would put into place. I think I just heard you said that you don't know.
I don't know. That's correct.
Don't you think it's important to analyze in the rulemaking process as you contemplate different policies being put in place, what the effects of those are, and are we going to? So we may not save any stream miles. You don't know.
I don't know. I do know this, that we will be coming out with environmental impact statement that people will be able to comment on that will be very detailed. I have not read that yet. Typically wouldn't until we're close to final, because there are many more bites at the apple, if you will, in terms of comments from the public, from states and otherwise, that will be happening once the rule is put out.
Your full comments submitted to the committee are replete with comments about economic engines and fair returns and the growth of domestic energy portfolio. I come from a coal district. We have a lot of surface mines in my district. Do you anticipate the stream buffer zone rule to grow and expand surface mining activity in my state?
I don't know what its impact will be, positive or negative. That will be part of the study that comes out. I do know that from public lands, largely not in your state, public lands in the Rocky Mountains, that we supply about 40% of the nation's coal.
Well, but for the Office of Surface Mine, the regulation of surface mine activities in my state is under your jurisdiction, is it not?
That's correct.
Okay. So again, you've been working on this rule for some time, and we are sitting here, and I think you've indicated that we're pretty close to having this rule issued.
That's correct.
And at this point, you still don't know what this proposed rule, the impact it will have on surface mining activity in my state or any place else.
I don't know. Mike, do you have more insights into that? I haven't read it yet because it's not been released.
It hasn't been released. It will be a proposed rule. There will be a lot of public process involved in that time frame. There will be a draft environmental impact statement that will lay out the analyses associated with the rule. There will be economic analyses that are part of that rule, but it will be proposed at that point in time. It hasn't even left the department, and it's being prepared by the Office of Surface Mining. So it's very early in this process. Typically with these regulatory processes, we make lots of changes between proposed and final. I anticipate we'll take lots of comment, and we'll go through that analysis and that input, and we will have this dialogue as it continues over the next year to 2 years.
But my sense is, in developing the proposed rule, the modeling should have already occurred. The modeling should be conducted in order to develop at least the proposed rule, and that if you are getting ready to issue this, I would hope that the modeling would have already occurred, and you would know, but what I've heard thus far is we don't know if this is going to protect 1 inch of extra stream. We don't know if this is going to have one positive or negative impact on surface mining in my state or any place else. And to me, it just seems odd that we are literally at probably the top of the 9th inning, and you're here telling us you still don't know.
Let me be clear on one thing. I have had a briefing, several briefings in the course of my time with the Office of Surface Mining.
Can you tell me how much stream?
That was not part of the briefing. There was a briefing on
the jobs.
There was a briefing on the economic impact. I don't recall the specifics.
Let me ask you this: is there a jobs impact? I was an advocate at the state level in West Virginia. You know, we talk about we talk about environmental impacts. We talk about fiscal notes for fiscal impacts. What's the cost of government? I'm a passionate believer in a jobs impact. There are some incredibly powerful modeling tools like the REMI model and others. Did you do a jobs impact of the stream buffer rule proposal, and what is the results of that jobs impact?
So, yes, there was definitely a jobs impact by region. I do not recall the specific numbers.
Can you get those for me?
Absolutely. We'll be happy to get those to you.
So we don't know about the stream beds. We don't know about the coal mining activity, and we don't know, at least here today, what the jobs impact is.
Yeah, the jobs impact is known, and that's part of the rulemaking, and will be released when the study's released with the EIS, but I'll talk to my team to see if we can get any of that to you in advance of that coming out.
You talk, and again, your comment earlier, our budget reflects our priorities. And your priorities you've listed throughout things like climate change. And you are talking about making targeted increases to carry out that climate change agenda. And you talk about this Power Plus program and all the money from abandoned mine. What in this budget invests in the West Virginia communities like Chairman Rogers from Kentucky that have been decimated by the loss of coal jobs? We too are in the 9,000 jobs because of this war on coal, candidly. And so throughout I see you keep promoting your climate change agenda, and you say that your budget reflects your priorities. I think your priority is the climate change agenda, and that you are putting money into furthering that agenda. But that agenda is hurting you talk about communities and wanting to help people and help communities. It's wiping out southern West Virginia, Madam Secretary. And the rule that you are being charged with crafting is going to have a devastating impact and exacerbate the problem. What are you going to do for us?
May I respond?
Yeah, thank you.
First, I want to reassure you I do not, and neither does this administration, have a war on coal. I appreciate that many of the communities in Appalachia, in West Virginia and Kentucky and other communities are hurting. I do appreciate that. And much of the easy coal in this part of the country has been obtained, and so the economics are changing as well. I also appreciate that we have had impacts from coal mining in this region that we have learned from over the last 30 years. So we are trying to update the regulations, but certainly not undermine an important industry. We have the Power Plus proposal in the President's budget. It accelerates $1 billion from the Abandoned Mine Land Fund to put specifically into work in the communities that have been so impacted, like the ones you reference in West Virginia and in Kentucky.
Can I ask you one quick question? The Chairman Rogers, or maybe it was another member, said that Power Plus cannot be implemented under the current statutory structure, and that the money from abandoned mine can only be used for reforestation. So is it accurate to say that the President's proposal to use money for these Power Plus projects cannot occur without congressional action.
I believe that's true, and I also believe that with the funding source, I do not believe this will score. I think that there will be members of the House and Senate, along with the administration, that should align on this proposal, and that will be our strong recommendation.
Okay.